Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Have You Ever Played podcast, the only high fructose podcast on the internet.
Oh my
I'm
god.
Matt, aka Matt Fondude, and I'm with my co host as usual.
Yes, I am James, aka James04E, high fructose enjoyer.
Yeah, I think they caught your let's roll with it toward the intro, so that's a secret cold open for the
Sick.
fans. Yeah.
Yes.
Um, James and I were having a brief discussion before the podcast about some of the formatting of the show, and I've officially dubbed James the Quiz Master.
Yes.
James will now be handling trivia and quiz, which has been a segment of the show for some reason now. It is the mail segment where people can email us at hyeppodcast@gmail.com, which I should actually
Yes.
check right now. Um, People can email us questions at hyeppodcast@gmail.com. But when we don't have any good questions for the week, we have dubbed the new section the Trivia Corner or the Weird Icebreakers Corner, and James is the Trivia Master.
Yes.
How do you feel about that new job title?
I'm excited for it. It seems like it'll be a great experience. It'll bring us lots of success, lots of happiness, and lots of silly questions.
Oh, silly is a keyword too. In our search for
Yes.
finding trivia, using the words like silly and icebreaker and just like funny, quirky questions, just like some top 100 AI generated BuzzFeed questions are kind of our wheelhouse on this
Yep.
here podcast.
This is this tab is so bright. Oh my god.
So we don't have a video component to the podcast yet. That'll come at some point.
One day.
But for the listeners at home, every single time James changes a tab, his whole face is illuminated like a sun has just blasted him in the
Yeah,
face.
this is a purest white that I've ever seen on a website.
I can see it's like
Like, oh
daylight
my
white
god.
reflecting from your eyeballs. Okay. Anyway, we have some form of structure on this podcast, but I'm breaking the structure a little bit today. Before we talk about our weeks, I just read a news story, and by news story I mean it's on from comicbook.com, so take
Oh
that with a
boy.
grain of salt. Apparently, according to the headline, we might be getting some PlayStation 1 and PS2 and PS3 games on Steam.
Ooh.
Now, that headline is kind of stupid because I read the article and then I did a little research from the article, and basically what they were talking about is there's a leaker on Twitter who I don't know of any like I don't know if they're of any renown. I didn't get that deep. They're called Oops Leaks. I think it might be
Oh
a
my
it might be like a leaking you could submit leaks to it and then it's like an aggregate or something.
Oops
Probably
leaks.
should have did a little bit
They're
more research.
they're a leaky boy.
But I did about as much research as the article because it's like a 2 paragraph article.
Hmm.
And it literally says this is completely unofficial. Take this with a grain of salt. We don't know. It's a rumor. But I do think, and I wasn't going to even talk about this on the podcast, but I do think there is actually a possibility that this might be true, specifically with the Metal Gear games,
Hmm.
because one, we haven't gotten a re-release of Metal Gear Solid like 1, 2, or 3 or 4 on a PC, although we kind of did because 2 came out on PC. There was a PC release of 2 on Good Old
Damn.
Games, which now is not available. So it was available and is has not been available for a while, which kind of makes me think they are actually going to make some sort of like they'll port the HD collection they did for PS3 and put it on PC, which
Damn
I
it.
feel like they might, but
They're
it's
gearing up to make a move.
I think so, but it's Konami of current state, so it's
Yeah.
probably going to be done in like the scummiest way possible, maybe a GTA definitive edition situation.
Oh no.
All they have to do is just port the already existing games
Hmm.
to Steam, but I fear that they might not do it right or justice. But
Hmm.
it is a thing where like Metal Gear Solid 4 is locked to PS3. You cannot play that game. I mean, you could emulate it kind of, um, but otherwise it's locked to PlayStation 3. They've never re-released it, And have you played a lot of the Metal Gear Solid games at all, or any of them?
Um, oh, it's been a while. I've only played them like at a friend's house, like on their PS2 when I was like younger. I
Hmm.
haven't like fully owned one and played it before.
So they were re-releasing them and remaking them, and they were accessible for a while. Like the first Metal Gear Solid game on the first Solid game on PS1,
Hmm.
then got the remake on GameCube, which was like Twin Snakes, which is kind of a weird remake. Like there's a reason to play both games. They're kind of like a weird thing.
Hmm.
Then 2 was on PS2, and 2 and 3, and then 2 and 3 got added to like an HD collection, and they were also ported to like 3DS and like Vita and all these other things.
Hmm.
But 4 has just been locked on PS3, and there's a lot of games that are locked on PS3 that have not escaped. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World was locked on there for a
Oh
while.
yeah, that's a great game.
It's on Steam now.
Yeah.
Um, but it was locked to like the PlayStation 3 and Xbox like DLC store for a really long time.
Yeah, I actually remember that. I played it on Xbox 360, and I remember the whole drama. I think it was like when the next gen consoles came out. I think you couldn't play them on the next gens anymore, or something like that.
Well, that game also had the weird thing that some games have where the licensing ran out
Hmm.
and they couldn't sell it anymore. Kind of like what happened with the Lego Lord of the Rings game, where that game got taken off Steam for a while
Hmm.
because of the licensing, which is horrible for trying to get games. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff like that with, like I said, with the GTA collection. You can't buy the original versions of the GTA releases on Steam anymore. I think you can buy them on like Rockstar Games website or something through their
What?
horrible launcher, like their
Oh
social
no.
club or whatever. But you can't buy them on Steam,
Hmm.
so you're kind of forced to buy these versions. And you know what? Mini rant. I don't want to talk the entire podcast because I feel like I do that a lot, but I the game Dragon Quest.
Hmm.
I don't know which Roman numeral Dragon Quest. Let me see. Dragon
Dragon
Quest.
Quest IV
No, XI. Dragon Quest
XI.
XI 11. Yes, 11. Echoes of an Elusive Age has one of the stupidest Steam releases of all time, and I don't. I okay. So they had a PC version of the game, and the
Hmm.
PC version of the game was on Steam, and I bought it for like full price. It was like $60 or something, and I didn't play it. And then they released a new version on Steam called Dragon Quest 11S, which is the Switch. It's a port of the Switch improved version. So it is a port of the Switch version, which is a visual downgrade in some areas, but has a completely different soundtrack and extra content and is the definitive edition, but there is weird changes. So it's one of those situations where it's like you could play the original, mod it with the old music or something like that. There's no good way to play it. And then they don't even
Oh
sell
yeah.
the original version anymore. So now I have both versions sitting in my Steam library, and I had to re-buy the second version, the Switch
Oh
version. They
my
didn't give me any
god.
discount, no discount. Sometimes they'll give you like when Death Stranding had director's cut. If you owned the game, they would give you a discount. You could pay
Yeah.
$5 to get upgrade, no discount. Rebuy the $60 game, but I didn't buy it
Man.
$60. I bought it on sale, but still, now I haven't played the game still, even though I
Man.
own both versions. End rant.
And Rant.
Have you ever had a thing like that happen to you with like weird versions of a game?
I'm trying to think. I don't believe I have, but that's part of that is because when there's a game that I like really like, I feel like I haven't had a game that I really like come out with another version after it was released. Like I remember I bought like the most expensive version of Doom Eternal. Like I pre-ordered it, then I proceeded to not play the DLC. That was really funny. I still haven't. I have the DLC. I just it's never the right time and stuff like that. But yeah, no, I don't think it's ever really happened to me.
Do you find that you don't often go back and play DLC for games, like
Um,
expansions?
it depends because like I feel like some harder games it's kind of annoying because for something like Dark Souls or Doom, like I play them for a while and I kind of get in a groove, and it's like I don't really want to put it down and pick it back up again and be like rusty. So that's a big part of why I haven't played the Doom DLC yet. But I'm trying to think, have I really gone back and played DLC for other games? I mean, not in recent memory. I did when I was younger, but yeah, I don't do it so much anymore. Mostly because I don't I don't very frequently buy new games that are gonna have DLC.
See, I kind of feel the same way in terms of the rustiness, especially when you were talking about
Hmm.
Dark Souls. I think Dark Souls 2, uh, specifically with their DLC rollout and how it was kind of spaced out. There's like three, I think, DLCs.
Yeah.
I had played the first DLC and was like, this is fine. And then I think played maybe some of the second one and then didn't even touch the third one.
Hmm.
And I think with Dark Souls and those Souls games specifically, the DLC always kind of feels tacked on. Even in Dark Souls 1 where I think it's probably the Dark Souls 1 and Bloodborne I think have the best DLC.
Hmm.
But they do feel almost like, when am I supposed to do this? Because
Yeah. I I
mhm.
agree. I also feel like in Bloodborne's case, what was a little weird to me is they actually did consider New Game Plus of the DLC because it like the location in which you would actually activate the DLC was, I believe it was relatively early on. So obviously they don't want you to do it on a new game. Um, but yeah, I do think that some other games they'll like have like even some other Souls games they'll have it like the DLC is just in the middle of the game, and it's like, well, I don't really want to start a new playthrough right now. I just kind of want to play the DLC. And it feels a little odd at times.
Yeah, I think there's two distinct mindsets going into the DLC. It's either the DLC hasn't come out yet and then you have to return to an old character like you were saying and then you're
Hmm.
rusty and it's weird, or the DLC is already out and you have to determine, like you were saying, like it's in the middle of the game, should I go nip into the DLC, do all of that? And usually that happens like, it's like, all right, I guess I'm about to fight the final boss, so I guess I'll go do the whole DLC and then come back and then fight the final boss,
Hmm.
which is usually easier because the DLC is usually like the super bosses in those games.
Yeah. What I also find interesting about DLCs, and this actually reminded me, there is one game I did come back to recently for the DLCs, and that was Borderlands 3. And that's because I think with loot based games, as, at least for me with Borderlands 3, I would like sign on every day and do like a grave ward farm or something like that. I just like kill it a bunch of times. Well, I even got so good at it. I remembered like the exact place I needed to shoot without even looking at the screen that I would literally do homework while I'm doing it. And like this is an FPS, so I actually had to like aim and stuff. So that was like pretty funny because I was like my third or fourth year of college. I can't remember which. I think it was third year because it was pre-COVID.
Hmm.
But yeah, and I would come back to that game pretty frequently whenever they would drop a DLC, kind of complete the DLC, do the farms I needed to do, and then just chill. Part of it might be because it isn't a very hard game, and I did notice as they released the second wave of DLC in the season 2 of the in the second season pass. I almost said season 2 battle pass. I'm like, oh,
Oh
oh
god.
god. Um, yeah, in the second season pass, I think the DLC was it was weird. They had like a whole survival mode, and it was almost a battle royale. Like you would drop in on a part of a map, and there'd be like enemies all around you, like AI and stuff like that. And I think it was kind of a speed run thing, and you would get different loot depending on how fast you did it, or like it was either that or you'd be able to keep the loot you got from it. It was something in there.
Oh, it's
I
like
don't know.
dungeoneering from RuneScape
Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
DLC,
Kind of like that.
or Crystal, whatever it's called in old school RuneScape.
Yeah, but it was
Gauntlet.
a little weird. Then they had like that, I think they called that the designer's cut. Then they had
Hmm.
the director's cut, which was like a bunch of cut missions and stuff like that, and they were all for this character named Ava, who nobody liked.
Oh,
So that was interesting.
I mean,
Yeah.
Borderlands Three's cringe, horrible story and dialogue and
Oh man.
general vibe aside, I think the Borderlands games actually do DLC really well.
Yeah.
Going back to even the first game with like Dr. Zed's Zombie Island, which I think is
Hmm.
one of the like more well known and influential DLCs in a game.
Yeah, I think the saddest part about Borderlands 3's DLC being or story, like the main story being pretty disappointing for me, is that the DLCs were actually great. Like they were very well written and they were very fun. And I from what I understand, I think it was the same writers. So I guess it was just the maybe the pressure of having to do a main story and like stakes being higher and stuff like that. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's quite interesting to look at the contrast, and it's not like you can just not play the main story because I think you need to have the main story finished to do the DLCs
I think
or something like that.
Borderlands 2 may have seen some success with their humor, and it's the same kind of humor that's in 3, but it's also it's like the humor of Borderlands 2 but transplanted into current year in 3.
Mm,
And 3 is also like they push a lot of some extra like annoying stuff. And again, I haven't even really played the game
mhm.
that much. I played it when it came out and was kind of turned off by the story. Um
Yeah. So I personally think that I think there are some differences with the humor because I think that for one, the characters weren't as good in Borderlands 3. It felt like the screen time for some characters was all over the place. Um, it felt like it wasn't really respecting the history of the series very much. I believe the writers were different. I can't remember though. And people didn't like the new characters very much. I don't like the comedy wasn't fundamentally different, but the way in which the characters were handled was very different. And it also seemed like the comedic timing was off because it was a slightly more serious story, I would say.
mhm.
But since we're talking about video game writing comedy, this actually brings me on to a rather hot topic lately. Have you heard at all about Forspoken?
I have. I don't know.
Yeah,
Okay. The only thing I know about that game is that it's triple A game, I think, PS5 game, and everyone seems to hate it. And it doesn't run on computers because it's apparently unoptimized or something for
yeah.
PC.
It's not very optimized. They did like a face scan or something like that for the main character, but it wasn't done too well. So people kind of make fun of that too. Like it just looks a little uncanny. But what I found really interesting is people were talking a lot about the dialogue. And it was what many people nowadays would call MCU dialogue. The characters are saying very well. First of all, they're very excited. Second of all, they say very like cliche phrases like, "Oh, he's behind me. He's behind me, isn't he?"
Oh,
That
very
kind of stuff.
quippy.
Yeah, very quippy. Um, and then another game came out. I don't know if you've heard about this one, Hi-Fi Rush.
Hi-Fi Rush I have not heard of.
So I believe it's a Bethesda game. I think. Yeah, let me look it up really quick.
Bethesda, the creators of the Doom series,
I believe so. Let me check.
which is a
Yes.
reference. Yeah,
Yeah,
Hi-Fi
Doom, the game
Rush.
that I didn't play the DLC for. Sad. So yeah, it was developed by Tango Gameworks, but it was published by the Bethesda, and they actually did a surprise launch. They didn't announce the game until the day it was released. Um,
Interesting.
and so the concept of Hi-Fi Rush is it's like a beat 'em up game, but
Hmm.
your attacks sync with the beat of the music that's in the background.
Oh, that's cool.
And so it's like a $30 game. It's like 6 hours playtime roughly, and it has a very similar dialogue style to Forspoken. But it didn't get much criticism because it's very self aware. It's kind of over the top. It's like a cartoony style game, and they're going for like a Saturday morning cartoon kind of vibe. It's very much the narrative is it's very much driven by the music and the aesthetic. Whereas with Forspoken, it's a little bit more of a realistic and serious game, and it's also another open world, uh, you can run around and do anything kind of game. So I think that people found that the tone was clashing very heavily with the actual environment that you were in. And it's just kind of been a whole back and forth on social media and stuff where people are like, well, you don't like Forspoken, but you like Hi-Fi Rush. What's the difference? Obviously people are citing all sorts of different things surrounding the characters in the game and possible reasons why people might like one and not the other. And
Hmm.
I thought it was an interesting conversation.
I'm looking at the game. It's also $70 too, which is that new
Yeah,
AAA
yeah,
pricing model.
yeah. I think Forspoken was people were calling it the poster child for $70 games, which is I don't know about that, but
Here's my uninformed take on this whole situation. I assume, just by looking at the reviews, there's a lot of positive reviews, a lot of negative reviews. I feel like this game, once it goes on sale for like $20, people, and like time has passed, people will probably enjoy it. I'm sure there'll be a crowd of people who are like, oh, this is actually really pretty good. I just
Hmm.
think that elements that you're talking about with like the characters and I don't know, people perceiving them as being cringy, uh, and then also the elements of AAA game and it's expensive and also doesn't run on people's computers and it's supposed to be this whole next gen. I think there's a lot going on right now in the fact that it just came out and people are talking about it. I pretty much completely missed this. It's like completely passed by
Hmm.
me, and the only reason I even know about it is from memes and people talking about it. People talking about the controversy, which I don't even know what really is going on with it.
Yeah, I've spent enough time on Twitter that I'm rather familiar with it. But
Yeah,
somebody who doesn't do that as much wouldn't be as educated on the topic.
yeah. Well, I haven't played it, and there's a lot of open world games that I'm trying to play right now, and
Hmm.
maybe when it goes on sale at some point, because it really the reviews are mixed on Steam, and they
Yeah.
genuinely seem pretty mixed. I do think a lot of people note that it does not run on their computer at all, and optimization is like a huge negative for people.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I believe the open world is, I don't know what they call it, like a gated open world, limited open world, something like that, where it's like you can only go to certain areas uh at certain parts of the game. Like you have to progress through the game to get certain areas, so it's not like a fully open world. Which has its pros and cons.
mhm.
Because obviously it can suck to feel like your freedom is being restricted, but at the same time, sometimes being able to go literally anywhere can clash with the narrative a little. That's where the whole I think it was which Legend of Zelda game was it where you could fight Ganon right at the start? Was it Breath of the Wild?
Yes, as Breath of the
Yeah,
Wild.
it's kind of like a similar thing to that where they actually played into that, um, whereas some other games don't, and it makes the actual player experience clash a bit with the narrative more than they would like.
Hmm. Yeah,
But
I don't know.
I'd have to play it to fully
Same. Yeah.
understand what the hub what's the word? It starts with H. It's when people are like on
Hubbub,
yeah, the hubbub.
a
What's the hub?
hullabaloo,
The
another H word.
hullabaloo. Yes. There's some SpongeBob episode that used that word.
Hoopla is
The
a
hoopla, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. What all the hoopla
A lot of
is
good
about.
H exclamatory words.
Yeah.
I'm looking at some of these reviews. A lot of them are like, "I got this free with my graphics card, and it doesn't run it well," and which that's really bad. When
That's
you get
so
the game
sad.
free with your graphics card and it doesn't run it good.
No.
People's bad dialogue, bad optimization. Yeah, eh, eh. I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I gotta play it. That's my
Hmm.
take. My non controversial take of just I don't know.
Simply play a game before you have an opinion on it.
Hmm.
Hot take.
All right. Do you want to get into our weeks at all? My
Yeah,
week
sure.
pertained to playing Elden Ring. That game is
Hmm.
so good, Elden Ring. I'm like hitting a new stride in Elden Ring.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, for the folks who've been following my Elden Ring journey via the pod, I have now caught up to my previous playthrough. So I've gotten
Pog.
to I will Elden Ring brief kind of spoilers. I'll try not to really spoil it. I've gotten to the snowy area with the big people. That's where I've gotten to.
Ooh, based.
Yeah, I don't even. You're also not like that with your Elden Ring. I always forget. You're like playing it on and off too, right? Where are
Yeah.
you?
So yeah, I'm still in the stage where I'm trying to level up enough that I can go to the Royal Capital.
Mm-hmm.
So this week I discovered some of the underground areas, like not the caves, but like the rivers.
Yeah, there's a
So
lot of those.
I went to Ainsel River and
Mm-hmm.
Sealfura River. So I fought I believe the Dragonkin soldier or something like that. One of the guys that's like half dragon, he's big. Um,
I don't even know who you're talking. Like, maybe I know what you're talking about. That's the crazy thing about Elden Ring. It's like you could be like, yeah, I went to the Beefer Castle and fought the King Beef and his cow posse, and you're like, when did that happen in the game? It's like, oh yeah, this area. It's like, what area is that? It's like, oh yeah, you talk to the jar, and he tells you to go through the well, and it's like, okay, just
yeah, so it
sure.
was a Dragonkin soldier of Noxtella.
Nox Stella, I might have probably done that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not a exceptionally memorable boss. You just walk into a big room with some like giant sitting in a chair, and then this half dragon person just drops on your forehead.
Hmm.
And then I also fought the ancestral spirit. That
Okay.
one was it was interesting. I thought it was going to be a lot cooler, to be honest, because I had to run around and light these like eight what are they called? These like eight pillars.
Okay.
And
Oh,
it was
yeah.
a pretty cool area actually. I really thought it was like cool to go through. And then I go up to these horns of this giant reindeer thing, and it
I
like
don't
teleports
know
me
if
somewhere.
I literally can't tell if this is real or like I know you're not lying, but it's like you could just make up anything and I would believe you.
Yeah, like honestly, it is a little weird that you just had to light up all these things to get to this boss. Like I don't know. I don't know if like I can't remember off the top of my head Souls games doing something like that before.
Hmm.
Because I feel like normally it's like you walk up and it's like boss. If
Well,
if the boss teleports you somewhere, then you kind of do it. But
you did have to light something in Dark Souls 2 for the Medusa Gorgon fight. That
oh
cool
yeah, that's
thing
definitely.
where you have
Oh,
to
I see. It's a Dark Souls 2 mechanic. Okay, that explains why it
uh,
felt bad.
oh no, it's a Dark Souls 2 mechanic where you take a torch and you walk up to you climb a pile of rubble to a metal beam and you light the metal beam on fire and then it gets rid of the poison. Easy. Just know how
Man,
to do that. Just do it.
yeah, but the actual boss fight was pretty disappointing. It just kind of flew around a little bit, and then like it like landed and tried to kick me with its hind legs, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just whack you, and it doesn't really yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently there's like an other version of the boss fight. I know, unreal,
What?
uncommon in Elden Ring, another version of a boss fight.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. It was sad. I was actually going through. This was in Siofra River.
Oh yeah.
I was going through, and there were these two like portals, and I didn't
Hmm.
want to go to them because I'm like, I don't want to go somewhere else. I want to be here and finish this thing. And then I left. And I'm like, damn, I can't. I feel like that dungeon or that underground place was really small. And then I looked at the map on the wiki, and I'm like, wait, I'm
Yeah,
actually supposed to
no.
go through these portals.
There's a lot. By the
Yeah.
way, so have you been doing any side quests like in depth at all?
Um, I did the oh, crap. It was this Volcano Manor.
Oh, okay,
I did some of those. Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, like
Uh,
the assassination missions or
uh,
whatever, where you like invade.
So I fully took it upon myself this playthrough to take on as many side quests as possible with the guides and all that.
Hmm.
And I have to say, one, they're very convoluted. You basically need a guide to do most of them efficiently, like to actually
Yep.
like complete them.
Hmm.
But it is probably some of the coolest side quests in a Souls game. I did the Ronnie the Witch side quest line, which is
Oh yeah.
substantially long.
Yeah, I think
And
I almost did that one, but I like got to one of the first places and it said like you have to come here at night. Then I came there at night and nothing changed, so I'm like, okay, I'm
oh,
I'm gone.
yeah, I don't know what you did, but it was a pain to honestly, it was a really big pain because there are so many interconnected quest lines that break if you progress too early in other quest
Hmm.
lines. Um I did a quest line I did a quest line for a character that gives you an item. I'm going to keep it vague, I guess. There's a quest line that
Okay.
gives you an item that you can give to three other characters in the game, and depending on which character you give it to changes something. But this character who gives you the item will be killed by another character in a different quest line if you don't do their quest before you do their another person's quest line.
What?
But you need to, in order to get a certain item, you need to start another character's quest line, and progress enough into that where you can then give them the original item, which then changes a quest line, and then there's a glitch that may or may not work where if you kill that person, you can get their armor set, but also complete the quest line with bug dialogue. And then if you go talk to the NPC, he won't work at first, but if you buy an item from him, it'll fix part of it. And then you run away, reload your save, and then come back to him and then talk to him and continue the quest line, then go back and to the shop. Then you should be able to get the item that you needed to get, and then you can continue the quest line, and then that character dies, and then you could it's like 15 things like that. And I
Yeah,
spent
that's
hours like intertwining these quest lines to get the exact playthrough that I wanted, and it was slightly frustrating, but I'm glad I did it because there's a ton of content that I would not have seen
that's
otherwise.
classic Dark Souls right there.
Yeah, and it also it made the quest line made me feel something. Like I actually
Hmm.
cared. There was two moments during this quest line where I actually cared about characters in a Souls game, which is crazy.
Yeah. Oh, and actually, there's one other thing I did. The like half wolf guy that
Yes,
was in all the
Blade,
advertisement for that.
Blade. His name, Blad. His name is looks spelled like Blade, but it's
Yeah.
pronounced like something else. Blad or something. I
Yeah.
don't know.
So I came across where he's supposed to be like
Blide.
randomly, and I heard him like howling. And I went to the source of the howling. And he wasn't there, and I got to like do a stance. And I'm like, I did a stance and it didn't work. And
Oh
then
yeah.
I was walking out, and there was this giant bear that just attacked me, and like I killed the bear. I'm like, okay, I gotta go to the wiki or something for this or Reddit. And they said like, okay, so you need to go to this merchant who
Yep.
didn't appear in my playthrough yet for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll give you this the pose or whatever that you need to do. I'm like, okay.
Snap.
And then the
Yes.
next thing they said is make sure you don't kill the giant bear.
Yep.
If you kill the giant bear, he will be hostile. The half wolf man will be hostile. I'm like, wait, what? I've killed like 10 of these in my playthrough. What are you talking about? They
Also,
literally attacked me.
your enthusiasm for the giant bear is like clipping the mic in a weird static way, which we got to figure out for the
Sick.
future. But you know what? We'll keep it. It turns you into like an electric villain. But you know
boy.
what? We'll kind of vibe with it. Actually, you know what? Maybe turn the gain a little bit.
Yeah.
This little podcast minutia. We were adjusting the gain. I got to get another microphone for we gotta upgrade our equipment. But
Yeah.
anyway, I know exactly what you're talking about with
Mhm.
Blide. I think is actually his name. I actually, when I first did my first playthrough without looking it up, did actually find the wolf and go back to the merchant and actually naturally did find that.
Mhm.
Um, which is like I'm shocked there, and also getting the spirit, but like I did naturally find certain things, and
Yeah.
you can find NPCs on their quest lines while playing the game
Mhm.
and naturally find an okay amount of stuff. But if you really want to do a full quest line, like the Ronnie quest, you're not gonna know. You have to look at a guide. Like
Yeah.
you're not gonna be able to figure that out. I mean, you could, but it would be. You're also walking on eggshells because you don't want to progress the game without
Mhm.
looking certain things up. Because when I was doing that quest line, I was like, should I kill this boss? Is this gonna break all the quest lines? And honestly,
Yeah.
Elden Ring actually doesn't do that really. They if you go to an area where an NPC quest would usually continue, their quest line will just skip to that point for the most part. So you don't really have to worry about it, but you
Mhm.
can miss out on seeing the NPCs in other spots and getting certain rewards.
Yeah.
Um, which when I first played the game, I just skipped to Atlas Plateau. The first thing I did, which means like half of the NPCs just didn't exist or like continued on their path. Like they just moved on without you.
Yeah.
So yeah, as long as you don't care about NPCs, you can play through the game any way you want. But the game really kind of wants you to play a certain way and go to a certain set of areas at a time.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the things that I both love and hate about Souls games
Hmm.
is like the way in which they handle side quests. It's actually it does a very good job at giving you a sense of community because you almost always have to rely on somebody else to actually figure it out.
Hmm.
But at the same time, if you're not like invested in the Souls community and you're just kind of playing casually, you'll almost never be able to complete a side quest.
Yeah, that like I would 100% agree with that, and I would say it wouldn't matter with a lot of side quests in the game because a lot of them are just. I mean, a lot of them are just kind of cool. I want to complete the side quest because it's kind of a cool character. I will say some of them give you crazy good rewards that
Mm-hmm.
like, man, I really want to beat the side quest because this reward is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But things like I don't think I would do the whole Ronnie quest line if I played the game a third time, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, because it's a lot, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It was worth doing it once.
Yeah.
Besides Elden Ring, have you been up to any other gaming endeavors?
Um, Mostly Apex, a little bit of Dota, and yeah, that's mostly been it for the week. Apex is it's a very silly game. I'll leave it at that.
Every week, it's just like I've been playing Apex. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah,
Just like,
it's oh man, like there are so many situations in that game that you get into that like they don't feel real. Like God, I was playing earlier today with some of my friends and we were running around and we were like entering a POI, and then I'm randomly like, wait, what's that glowing in the corner? I thought it was like a person, and I look around, it's somebody's entire inventory of loot just dropped on the ground.
oh,
Yeah, and they had like really good stuff. I'm like, what is this? Like, how does this happen?
maybe their pizza rolls were done and they had to just Alt F4
Yeah,
go get the pizza rolls.
like it's actually this game is actually like a roguelike. A roguelike with like really bizarre environmental storytelling.
You're
Just
just
because it's like there's definitely something that like because I wasn't here, I missed something that happened in this game in the same lobby as me. There's some story going down that I was just completely unaware of. And I want to know what happened. I have no way of finding out though because it's in the past.
I'm
It's like,
sure you
damn
could
it.
probably piece something together with body next to loot. I'm sure there is some sort of mechanic or
No,
some sort of
there was
point and
no
click
body.
mechanic. Oh,
There was
no
no body
body?
or anything. It was just Luke tucked away in a corner.
Oh, that is weird. Maybe they just
Yeah,
threw it in the. That is strange.
yeah. I don't know. It's just man.
Chalk it
But
up to some Twitch streamer doing a no loot run or something.
oh
Just like
my
I'm
god.
pistol only.
Yeah, but I don't know. BR is a wonky genre, man.
Yeah, I cannot. I don't. I just
Uh,
don't like the random weapon stuff. I don't know.
I'm telling you, if you just think of it as like a multiplayer roguelike, it's actually a lot easier to digest.
Yeah, I think that mindset would help, but it's so
Yeah.
funny. It's like I just want to play. I love battle royale games, except I would just like to play a mode where you respawn and there's like 8v8 in a map, and there's
Mm-hmm.
no random weapons, and you just have guns and loadouts, and it's like, oh, it's just Call of Duty.
There is a mode for that in Apex called Control. They do it as like
Yeah,
a limited time mode. It's like a 9v9 domination basically.
yeah. I would
Um
get more into that than
yeah.
the random stuff.
I'm pretty sure they're thinking about making it permanent.
Yeah,
So I don't know, maybe we could play it sometime. That'd be
they
cool.
call it the Titanfall 2 mode.
The Titanfall 2 mode.
They're never making another one of those.
Man, apparently there are all sorts of wacky leaks about them like implementing Titanfall stuff. Like there's supposed to be like some capture the flag mode, but it's like a capture the flag mixed with I don't know if you ever played Oddball in Halo.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like both of those mixed together, and it's like on Titanfall maps.
they
Like,
should
oh my
implement functioning multiplayer into Titanfall 2. That would be a cool
god.
implementation from Apex. Um,
Man.
but I did a really bad thing. I,
Okay.
I fell into peer pressure.
Mhm.
So Battlefield 2042 is
Oh no.
$20,
Oh no.
and every so often you want to play a Call of Duty, you want to play a shooty game, And my friends, they're all playing the shooty game, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, it's $20. I could probably get $20 of enjoyment playing with my friends in this game.
Yeah.
And I really don't feel good about the purchase because it's
Yeah.
supporting a bad game and bad practices.
Mhm.
I haven't played it yet. I will play it at some point, and I honestly, even in the best Battlefield game, I never really liked them that much anyway.
Yeah.
But it's been too long since I've had a game where I can just have a gun and run around in, because that's fun sometimes.
Well, yeah. My thing with Battlefield, I kind of realized recently, is what I really wanted out of Battlefield was just the like sheer chaos, like all the crazy moments and weird things that happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I get enough of those out of Apex, so I just don't have like the itch to play many other shooters anymore. Really.
I feel like it's like the expectation versus reality thing, where it's like
Mm-hmm.
expectation, it's just you clipping like C4 to like a motorcycle and flying in the air and like doing all this stuff. Reality, it's like you walking for 40 minutes to the enemy
Yeah.
spawn, and then the battle moves to another area, and you're just
Yeah,
playing with
pretty
a bunch of other
much.
dads in the morning. I think
Yeah.
Battlefield's a very it's a big
Yeah, it's
dad
an
game,
extremely dad game.
which is not bad. It's just like you're just getting on. It's kind of chill in a way. You go on like one of those servers. They have like 999 like units or whatever. One of those infinite conquest maps or something.
Mm-hmm.
You're just sitting on there, and you're like, all right, well, I guess I'll snipe someone. I don't know. It's got a vibe to it.
Yeah.
I've had fun with them in the past. I mean, Battlefield 3, I think, was outside of the Bad Company and all those. I think Battlefield 3 was probably a solid game that a lot of people enjoyed, and a lot of fun was had.
Yeah, I really liked Battlefield 3. It was a really fun game.
Battlefield 1 I actually enjoyed too, a good amount.
Mm-hmm.
I think they copped out. Like, I enjoyed the rifles and all like the really slow weaponry. I think they copped out by adding like Tommy guns and stuff. So it's like, oh, look, my SMG. It's like, okay, come on.
I think the reality is that at that time with shooters, everybody, all the devs thought that people were just sick of like modern games and they wanted like World War II again. And there was a small part of the community that said that. And then people actually got like World War One, World War II, and they were like, "Wow, this stuff is not what I expected. It's not fast, fluid, spray gun, running gun stuff."
See, I like slow one bullet garbage. That's kind of why I like Hunt
Mm-hmm.
Showdown's combat. Like, I want shitty, bad one musket ball, one bullet, or like manual reload revolver-y things. I don't know. I like
Yeah,
that.
I actually really want to play Hunt Showdown eventually.
Yeah, get it. I'll play. We can play it. I haven't played it in a while. Get it on sale. It's like $15 usually when it
Yeah,
goes
let
on
me
sale.
see. I need to add it to my wish list.
Our other shooty game we got to check out is Plants vs Zombies. Still,
What? Why is Hunt Showdown 24.83 right now?
is it on sale?
I think so. So the base game isn't on sale, but the starter edition is.
What?
The base game is $40, but the game with the starter edition is 24.83.
That's a weird sale.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. What?
Yeah, that's something's weird with that. I don't know
Yeah.
what the deal is. All right. Well, anyway, you're the quiz master. I think let's bring it
Yep.
over to James Quiz Corner. And this normally is the segment to send us messages to our email. And our email is, once again, hyeppodcast@gmail.com. That is the hyeppodcast@gmail.com. If you want to correct us on how wrong we are about everything we say on this podcast, please send that mail there.
All right. So we've got 139 video game trivia questions that'll reveal if you're an expert of the gaming industry.
All right, hit me.
And so the format of this is basically there's a question, and then there's a comment section. And in the
Okay.
comment section, the creator of this article, oh god,
Okay.
that name, I'm so sorry, Zydrun Trukanavisiute.
Okay, Zydrun.
Yeah, he comments the actual answer
Okay.
after people have like guessed for a little bit. This is like 2 months old or so. Okay, so first question.
Yep.
Which game is a life simulation game?
Is it The Sims? It could be
Yes,
any. Okay.
it actually is The Sims.
Yeah, I would imagine, but that's a genre of games. That's not one. Which game is the game where you first person shooter? It's like,
Yeah.
okay, I don't know.
It-
All right, this is
All right.
interesting. I like it.
All right, I'm gonna skip number 2 because it's literally what is the other name of of the villain Doctor Robotnik?
Dr. Ivo Robot Eggman.
Yeah, it's
Why are you skipping that?
because it's so obvious.
Maybe not to non-Sonic players.
Are we
I'll-
non-Sonic
You know what?
players?
I'm not gonna argue. I'm not gonna argue with the Quizmaster. I gave you the title of Quizmaster, and I will allow you to skip as you see
I'm
fit.
simply min-maxing our entertainment. All right, number 3. What video game franchise has racked up over $1 billion in lawsuits?
Oh, a $1 billion tone. Maybe. All right, big brain. I'm thinking maybe like Tony Hawk because people replicate it and they get injuries. Call of Duty's big. Is you say 1 billion?
Yeah, 1 billion.
Oh no, it's got to be something big then. It's got to be like a Call of Duty, a Halo, some sort of Overwatch or something. I'll just say Call of Duty.
Final answer?
Sure.
All right, the correct answer was Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, okay, that's another huge one. Is that because the kids emulated it or something? Like they replicated the behavior in the game, or
think it might-
the
it's
hot
just-
coffee, probably the hot coffee
Yeah.
mod.
Yeah, like it's mostly like angry parents and stuff like that,
No, I think
and
so.
also the hot coffee thing though. Yeah.
Is the answer because yeah, what probably happened was so. I think it was San Andreas that
Yeah, it
had the
was
hot
San
coffee.
Andreas.
So it wasn't a mod, by the way. So in the files of San Andreas in the game, for people who don't know, there was this mini game called hot. I don't remember why it's called hot coffee. I think it's something marked in it or whatever. But
'Cause,
basically, it was a like sex mini game, which
Yeah.
never was actually intended to be in the actual game. It was in the files still,
yeah, it was
um,
like cut content.
cut
basically.
content, but it was on the discs, so like it was on PlayStation discs and stuff.
Mhm.
And in similar cases where stuff like this has been found on the discs, what they have to do is recall all the games and then reship them out or do that, and they probably took a huge loss. And also, to avoid an adults only rating, they had to, take that out of the game. Even though it was never meant to be seen, it was cut content. You could only access it by like data mining the disc, basically.
Mhm.
I think that's probably why it cost them a bunch of money.
Yeah, there have been multiple GTA lawsuits from what I know. That's not the only one, but that's the most recognized one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. Sonic the Hedgehog must collect what items in order to stay alive?
Okay, from the second or the third, I guess, question to this one, it's like which thing is like that's actually pretty good trivia, and then it's just like I assume rings.
Yes.
Sonic has to collect rings.
I just love the way it's worded, like as if I don't collect rings, I will slowly die.
I mean, it's not wrong from the game.
Oh man.
Sonic has to collect rings.
Oh, this is a good one. According to reports, Robin Williams named his children after what games?
Zelda. Robin Williams, notable Zelda fan. Zelda Williams, shout out.
Okay, there's 2.
Oh,
So
Okay,
Zelda's one of them.
Zelda Williams. I think at one point I knew the other one. I was so slick and cool, and now I'm a fraud. Can you give me a hint? Well,
So the character that the child was named after
yes.
was from a game with the initials FF.
Final Fantasy?
It is from a game with the initials FF.
I don't know. Really? Is there a Cloud Williams walking around here? No way.
Cloud Willy.
No way. FF. No, I'm only gonna think Final Fantasy. That's probably not even right. All right, just give me the answer. I'm a fraud.
So the other child is named Cody after a character from Final Flight.
Final Fight.
It says
Cody
Final
from
Flight.
Final
It
Fight.
might be Final
Cody.
Fight. Yeah, it is Final Fight. Actually, this thing is wrong. It said
Final Flight.
It says
He's
Final
Cody the character.
Flight.
Is that even right? Wait, is that even right? Because Cody's like the character. He's like in his jail outfit
Yeah.
fighting because he's so cool and strong. Is that Cody Williams? Is that real? Cody Williams. Yeah. Was it really named after that? I don't know if that was. I don't know why. I don't know if he was named after that. I don't know if
To
that's
be
right.
honest, this could just be raw cap.
Zelda
person
Williams is right. Okay.
This person could just be talking out of their ass.
We can't trust the quiz. I don't know.
Oh,
All right, that's a
man.
weird one. I've never heard of
Alright.
that.
All right. Let's see. Next one. What game franchise did the creator pay to have negative press coverage to promote the game?
Negative press coverage.
Yes.
Well, I know Earthbound had a really stupid marketing campaign where it was just this game stinks in Nintendo Power, and it's just scratch and sniff Earthbound stickers about how
Damn.
stinky and bad the game was. It's like our game is like rotten garbage. It's weird marketing
Oh,
to
God.
like it was the weird gross out marketing. It's just no, but it's also Earthbound, which is like this really like gentle game. I don't know. It was weird. That's probably not correct.
No.
Let's see. Games that it gave itself its own negative marketing to like make the game.
Yes, they paid for it.
Do you know what console was this? What generation we talk? Is it PS2? I bet it's like a PS2 era game.
I mean, it doesn't really say.
I mean, look up the game.
It's a franchise.
It's a franchise?
I mean, it's a little broad.
Okay.
So to be exact, they paid to have negative press coverage. So it wasn't just like negative advertisement. Like
Is this
the
like
press.
Postal? I feel like I know. I feel like I've heard about this. Negative. I feel like I should know this. I'm gonna say Postal, even though it's not right. And also, they would not even have a budget to advertise.
It was Grand Theft Auto.
Again, Grand Theft Auto. What was it? One of the early games?
I have not. It literally just says Grand Theft Auto.
I feel like
quiz
this
is so
sounds familiar.
unspecific.
Postal. Yeah, no, it wouldn't be. That sounds like something that the Postal 2 running with scissors people might do if they had a budget. Grand Theft. I gotta look this up. Grand Theft Auto. Sorry to break the podcast.
Oh man.
Negative press. I don't know if I'll. Okay. All right, here it is on GameByte. What? Let's figure out. Let's figure out what they mean by this. How do they pay for negative press? Does what? They paid people to leave negative reviews
Apparently.
to gain. I guess it was to make outrage or something. Oh, okay. So I assume what they. This is probably all unconfirmed. What I'm assuming they're saying is they
probably.
paid people to write reviews where it's like, this game is so bad, like your kids or whatever, protect your kids. And by doing that, it would make kids want to play it more.
Mhm.
So by having the negative outrage, it would give them exposure. Okay, I mean, I feel like the real trivia is understanding the answers to the quiz.
Yeah. All right. Next question. What does the name Nintendo mean?
Okay. They were a game. Well, they were a Hanafuda card company and a toy company. I don't know. Oh, wait, doesn't it mean? Oh, is it like flower or something? Wait, doesn't it mean something? I'm an idiot. I feel like I know this too. Well, I know they made cards and then toys, and it has some name. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm not an expert gamer. Does it have something to do with flowers
I don't think so.
or something of play?
So I actually looked this up to confirm.
Yeah.
And the first thing I see is Nintendo probably doesn't mean what you think it does. And literally the first sentence says the common assumption is that Nintendo means literally the answer they put for this question. And then it says those assumptions, however, could be wrong. So it's
Nintendo
entirely
means
possible
Japanese
this answer
sword.
it's entirely possible this answer is not correct.
Nintendo. I don't know.
Okay, do you have any other guesses?
No.
Apparently it means leave luck to heaven.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that I have heard of that. I have heard that. I think that written on certain things. I think but what I remember is I'm going to Pikmin 2, and I think there was something in Pikmin 2 because you get a lot of old Nintendo stuff in that game, and I'm pretty sure something like that is on there, or they say it on other like love testers maybe. Did the Nintendo Love Tester say that on it?
Nintendo Love Tester.
I'm googling Nintendo Love Tester. Did it say that on there? I feel like I can gain some sort of cred for some of the stuff I'm saying, even though I can't
Yeah.
remember everything.
Matt's trying to get his gamer street cred
I
back.
am trying. I swear, guys, that I've spent a stupid amount of time with gaming, but it's all
Yeah.
like vague memories from Did You Know Gaming episodes.
Man, Matt, you're not an expert of the gaming industry.
That's not a bad trivia question. I mean, it's maybe not
that is a pretty
correct,
good one.
but that's a pretty okay
Yeah,
trivia
apparently
question.
that's like a direct like literal translation of like the kanji for Nintendo. All right, what was the first video game character in the Macy's parade?
Oh, wasn't it Sonic?
Yes.
This person really
Yeah,
likes Sonic.
they love Sonic.
Yeah. Okay.
What country tried to put a ban on midnight gaming?
Oh, midnight gaming. Country midnight gaming. I think a lot of places have weird laws about that. I don't know. I'm not even gonna guess because I feel like there's a lot of places that have children laws and how you can play games after dark and stuff like that. Where is it?
It is South Korea.
That makes sense. South Korea, because I know like Korea has, and like when I've played any like Korean MMOs and stuff like that, a lot of those games have to have like fatigue systems put into them, to limit people's gaming hours. People will just grind in certain games, like especially MMOs. They have to like limit your amount of gameplay, which I think is it's like fair enough in a way, because I remember I spent way too long grinding on certain games when I was younger. But at the same time, it's like it's kind of annoying to police, but I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
Moving on.
All right, this one's actually pretty interesting. What game did the character Sonic the Hedgehog first appear in?
Okay. Now, what you would say like a human would be Sonic the Hedgehog, but I'm assuming it's a trick question,
Yes, it is.
which means he was probably in some other Genesis-y kind of game or Mega Drive kind of game. Let's just say Alex Kidd, because that's just a game that I know exists. I know he's not in there.
All right, the answer is Radmobile.
Radmobile.
Yeah.
All right. That's a good piece of trivia if it's real.
It actually, I
Radmobile.
did fact check it. It actually is. Sonic is in it. I cannot confirm if it's the first one.
Okay.
Or I
Yeah, it
didn't
says it on
confirm if it's the
Wikipedia as first appearance of Sonic.
Sick.
I choose to believe it.
That's pretty pog. All right, I've got like
That's good. That's a good piece of trivia.
there's like 4 or 5 freebies in a row right now.
Hit me with them.
This one might actually not be a freebie. You might not know this. What female video game character would eventually be portrayed by Angelina Jolie in a movie?
Oh, is this Resident Evil people? She's Resident Evil people, I think. Is it Jill Valentine? Is that character from Resident Evil? Am I stupid?
No, it is Lara Croft.
Lara Croft? Oh yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. Never mind. The Resident Evil movies are like weird.
All right. These are some like actual uber freebies.
I forgot.
Donkey Kong is what kind of animal?
A pogger animal. Donkey Kong is I'm like second guessing myself because I know he's like an ape, but he's like a gorilla. It's not a gorilla. He isn't really a gorilla. He's like an ape. But like you know what I mean? Like he's a gorilla. I guess I don't know, because he's not really a gorilla. But he's not a monkey because he doesn't have a tail. Diddy Kong's a monkey. Donkey Kong's like an ape dude. Does ape count?
The answer is gorilla.
Okay, but like he is a gorilla, I guess. But like now that I'm thinking about it, he really does not look like a gorilla.
Yeah, I don't know. Nintendo just says it. They say it's a gorilla, so it's a gorilla.
I mean, there's nothing else he really would be. But yeah, now that I think about it, like Donkey Kong really does not look like a gorilla. That's weird.
All right, which skateboarder has a video game series named after him?
Oh, it's easy. That's Skate 3. Named after Jonathan 3, the famous skater. Tony Hawk's Ride, the greatest Tony Hawk game. Is that
Yeah,
final answer?
yes, it is Tony Hawk. What's Mario's brother called?
Luigi Mario, are you talking about?
Dude, this one was so obvious that the creator, their comment wasn't even the top comment this time.
They got ratioed on their own
Oh
quiz.
my god. Okay, what is the full name of Dota?
Defense of the Ancients.
Yes.
Was that? Did you just put that in yourself, or is that
No,
it actually in
it's
there?
actually in there.
Yeah. Would you have been mad if I got it wrong?
Not really.
Oh.
What is the oldest video game character?
The block in Tennis for Two, that one game we were talking about. No. I guess they're gonna go with what? Like, that's kind of hard to like. What is a character? Like the Pong paddle? Like, I think they mean. Are they just gonna say like Jumpman? It's Mario from Donkey Kong Arcade or something like that?
Oh my, this one's really funny because the creator, the like actual creator of the article got ratioed again, but he got like spam downvoted.
This is gonna be a weird. That's probably a weird question because whatever he put is probably not actually the first. Like, because that's like, what do you consider a character? All that. Um. Yeah, just a Jumpman. I don't know. Is that?
So he says the answer is Pac-Man. He's negative. He has -4 karma on this.
Oh.
And the top comment says, "While I'm unsure of their names, any character from the Sumerian game published in 1964, 16 years before Pac-Man."
Should I give the amazing Pac-Man fact that literally everyone knows and it's a meme? Or two? I'll give both of them.
Sure.
Did you know the developer of Pac-Man was gonna call it Puckman, but he didn't call it Puckman because the kids in America would change it to say funny things that aren't Puckman, so he's called Pac-Man because he goes Paku Paku. And also, the developer was eating a pizza and he took a slice out of the pizza and he saw it and he was like, "That's Pac-Man."
Damn.
Facts end it.
All right. How long did Marcus Persson? How long did it take Marcus Persson to create the first version of Minecraft?
Oh, I thought it was just gonna be like, who is that? I'm like, Minecraft. How long did it take him? Like, what do you mean, like the game?
Like the first version of Minecraft. Just how long did it take him to make the first version?
Probably not that long because if it's depending, like I don't know what, like the first released version that you could buy
I
or
don't
like his
know.
prototype.
I don't know. These questions are so vague.
Because it could be like, oh, it took him like a week to get something kind of a working prototype, but like the first release, a couple years. I don't know. 4 years. Final answer.
All right, so the answer is 6 days,
Okay, that's what I
And-
thought. So that's what I thought. It was either gonna be like his prototype was easy.
and the creator got ratioed again. The top
Yeah.
comment says only 6 days, and on the 7th day he rested.
Yeah, that's a dumb question. What honestly a better question literally would have just been Marcus, whatever his name is, better known as this alias or whatever. That probably would have been better.
All right,
Yeah.
this is another. Oh God, this creator's.
Give me a couple more, and then we'll call it
Yeah.
a night.
The creator of this article is a person.
No, some of them are bangers. Some of them have been good.
Well, no, I'm looking at the comments. Blizzard Entertainment is most well known for what video game franchise?
Oh, I thought they were gonna say most well known for. Well, there's various scandals. I would say they're probably most well known for World of Warcraft, or Warcraft, or Diablo, or Overwatch, or Starcraft, but probably World of Warcraft.
All right, so the guy claims the answer is World of Warcraft, but
Yeah.
somebody with who's literally the spitting image of the glasses emoji says, actually, the franchise is actually called Warcraft. World of Warcraft is part of that franchise.
I agree, but actually, I would say that World of Warcraft is probably what would come to mind first of anything. It's, like, even though it is part of the Warcraft franchise, it is something I would say World of Warcraft, specifically that title, would come to mind when you think of Blizzard.
Mm-hmm.
All right, give me some, give me a couple more, and we'll call it.
All right.
What United States president was asked and declined to voice the in-game president character in Fallout 3?
Ronald Reagan. No, well, he was an actor.
Oh man.
President? Fallout 3?
Yeah.
Wait, was he the sitting president, you said?
No, a former president.
Oh, who who who's it, Jimmy Carter? Who's the like he building houses and stuff?
No.
Jimmy Carter.
The answer is Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton. Okay, yeah. Isn't Jimmy Carter like building houses for people and doing all this stuff?
I have no idea, man.
Bill Clinton. Did he? He did. Here's a little fun piece of trivia. Shout outs to Chandler from Friends, aka what's his name? Matthew Perry, I believe, right? He voices Benny in Fallout New Vegas, the checkered
Fuck.
shirt guy who shoots you in the face.
Based.
It's because Chandler from Friends, I think Matthew Perry. Yeah, Matthew Perry really was a huge fan of Fallout 3 and played it a bunch, and I guess got in contact with them. He tried to give Ellen on the Ellen show a copy of Fallout 3, I believe. I think it was Ellen. Let me look this up. So this is important. Fallout 3. Yeah, he's on Ellen, and he's like, "Hey, Ellen, here's a copy of Fallout 3." He just gives it to, and it's like Ellen, of course, like the least interested person of that. But, cool. You know what? Cool. It's a cool little tidbit. And with that, I think we'll end the pod. I'm Matt, aka Matt Fun Dude. You can follow me on the Twitter. I don't use it like ever, but go to my YouTube channel or my Twitch, or listen to the podcast. I don't know. You're already listening to it. Hi, bye. James, who are you?
Yes, I'm James, aka James04E. You can follow me on Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, which I'll use one day, I promise. And yeah, I'm the Quizmaster.